Hey guys, I'm back for part 2 of my headless guitar kit build. Now before I get into it, I just want to let you guys know that I have a whole bunch of projects lined up for this year. Hopefully that I'll get done over the next 6 months. Some really cool guitar builds. Perhaps some of my best ones yet. So if you're interested in that kind of thing and seeing cool guitars get put together, you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. Okay guys, so since part 1, what I had to do was get the neck fitted into the neck pocket and drill some holes. Well, right away, when I put the neck in there, the neck pocket was too big. It was too wide. It was not a snug fit at all. It's okay if there's, a tiny bit of space, but there was so much of a space on, the sides of the neck that you could literally wiggle the neck back and forth. I mean, quite a bit. It was too much. So I knew I was gonna have to shim the side of the neck pocket, one of the sides, or maybe even both sides, if I wanted it centered. But before doing that, I had to get the bridge into the bridge route, get the neck on there, have the nut, this, whatever you call this, it's not a headstock, the nut, we'll call it that, and get a couple of strings on there because I needed to see how the strings were gonna line up with the bridge and the neck. If I put a shim on the top, that means the neck would be a little bit further this way, right? Or if I put the shim on the bottom side of the neck, then the neck's gonna be a little bit further this way. And I have to know, how is that gonna affect where the springs are coming from the bridge? Because you want the strings centered as much as possible over the neck. So after doing that, I discovered that it was best to have the shim on the top here so that the neck was a little bit further that way. Luckily for me, I have some sheets of basswood that I got at Hobby Lobby a while back for a previous guitar build. So I was able to cut off a little piece and shape it so that it was just about the same size as, basically would fit right in there. Take a look at this photo. You can see right up there on the top edge, you can see that little strip of wood. I had to cut it first, and then it was still too thick. Even though I used the thinnest one that I had, it was still too thick. I couldn't get the neck in there, so I had to keep sanding that shim until it got thinner and thinner until eventually the neck would fit in there. Now it's really snug. And to be honest guys, this kit is not a great kit. I mean, the fact that there was a gap in the neck pocket, that was one thing. But then there's some other issues as well. So in the route for the bridge, there are 4 screws that attach the base plate of the bridge to the body. Here, 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 and here. Well, this one right here, take a look at this picture. You see where I had to glue those 2 little pieces of wood right on the edge there? That's because they routed it out too much. That's exactly where this screw needs to go. So literally there's no wood there for the screw to go into, to bite into. So I had to glue in a little piece of basswood, and there was still kind of a little crack left. And so in that little crack between the body and the basswood, I took a piece of toothpick and I glued that in there with some wood glue. And even after doing that, I was worried that when I drilled the hole, that those 2 little pieces that I glued in there, that they would just kind of pop off or fall off, because I was literally drilling right on the center line, here's the body and here's the 2 pieces that I glued together. I'm drilling right where they glued together. But it didn't happen. Luckily it was fine. So I got the base piece in there. It's all screwed in, nice and tight. It's good. After I did the shim for the neck, I drilled the holes, put the neck plate up there, marked the spots, drilled through, then marked the spots on the back of the neck and drilled those holes and was able to attach it. And then I also had to drill these 2 holes right here to attach the end piece, the nut or whatever that's called. And the last thing that I needed to drill were the 2 holes for the control cavity plate. And one note on that. The control cavity, the 2 holes on the plate, they were just drilled straight through the plate. There was no kind of bevel in the plate that kind of went down a little bit, if that makes sense, because these screws are not flat on the underneath the head of the screw. It kind of goes down in a triangular shape a little bit, if you know what I mean. So if I hadn't done some additional drilling in the plate, the screws would be sticking up because they wouldn't be able to go down kind of into the control cavity plate. So I did that. All right, so what's next? Well, the next thing I need to worry about are the pickups. I need to drill the 4 holes for the pickup ring so it will attach to the body. Well, the first thing I thought when I pulled these out was they're not marked like bridge or neck. And how am I supposed to know? Red wire, black wire? There's nothing in the box or in the instructions that says, well, which one's the bridge pickup, which one's the neck pickup. All right, but I think I figured it out with my super investigative skills. I finally noticed that, these were already attached to the pickup rings. And one of the pickup rings is taller and one of them is shorter. So using my superior intellect, I deduced that the taller one must be the bridge pickup and the shorter one must be the neck pickup. And hopefully that's correct. Okay, so an issue though, when I put the pickups in the spots where they go, the neck pickup, I put it in there, I'm noticing it won't go down all the way. So guess what the problem is? They didn't make the route where they routed out for the pickup low enough. So the ends of the screws, the metal screws that are holding the pickup to the pickup ring, they're too long and they're hitting the wood. So it won't go down completely flat, for the pickup ring. So I'm gonna have to drill a little bit, just drill out a little bit of the wood on each side so that the screw will be able to sit down all the way. That's not an issue with the bridge pickup because I don't think the route is any deeper. I just think it's because the ring is a little bit taller, so the screw is just a tiny bit further up. I think it's just a teeny tiny bit that's making the difference on the other one. So that's something that I'm gonna do next. I will drill a little bit, make the pickups fit. I will take the neck off, I will take the bottom of the bridge out, I will sand this fairly smooth, and then I'm gonna paint it. So, in the next video, guys, you are gonna see the body completely painted, and you will see what the paint scheme is that I've got in store for this bad boy. And I think it's gonna look pretty cool. I hope. Or it could look absolutely awful, but let's try to be positive, okay? All right, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for checking it out. Be sure to tune in next time when you see this bad boy all painted up.